You're watching Shalom TV, celebrating Jewish culture. Funding for Shalom TV has been provided by the following. And by viewers like you.
In 1916, in a shtetl called Volkovich on the Russian border, a girl of 15 named Basha Edelkind was walking in a field near her home when two Russian soldiers began to follow her. She knew they were trouble, of course. Cossacks frequently harassed the Jews of the area. Thinking of the Jewish families that lived there as nothing more than game or prey. These two soldiers chased Basha through the field, and she ran to hide in the home of a non-Jewish friend. The mother in that home quickly understood what she needed to do. "Let them think you are my child," she said. And she told Basha to hide in the bed beside her daughter. The soldiers caught up and barreled into the home. As she had promised, the mother asked, "These are my children. What do you want with them?" But when one of the two Cossacks saw Basha lying flat and still underneath the blanket, he moved over to the bed. He sat down next to her, and one by one, he began to take off his boots. Well, the mother of this household knew what would come next. Unending trauma for a 15-year-old girl. She pleaded with him, "Please don't touch her. She's just a child." And somehow, because my grandmother told me this woman got hysterical, her cries miraculously got to the other soldier, the one with his shoes still on. And he said, "She's just a child. Let's go." And they left. When I first heard the story from my grandmother, she was no longer Basha Edelkind. She was Bertha Adler, a name she'd been given at Ellis Island in 1917. After so many pogroms, Basha's mother had said, "There is nothing here for you but potato fields. Go to America." And so, all alone, she went. And when I think of my grandmother, I see her this way, bravely giving up whatever she knew for a world she couldn't see, and essentially giving up everything for me. The only thing she asked in return was that I did not break the chain of Jewish lineage in our family. With each bar and bat mitzvah of my three children, Nina, Juliet, and Adam, we have tried to live by the words my grandmother said to me, "Harley, don't break the chain." Well, what does that mean to me? It means I must educate my children to be committed to the state of Israel, to Zionism. We've worked hard. We've worked hard to infuse Judaism in our children's lives. In our small way, We work to teach them what it means to be part of what is perhaps the longest story in the world, the story of the Jewish people. On the occasion of our Nina's bat mitzvah, we began a journey that has spanned across the world in under a decade. As David mentioned in his introduction, each year my family goes to Cambodia, where we fully support an orphanage. While we're there, we wanted also to give of ourselves. We teach English to the students there so that they might have a chance to escape poverty once they enter adulthood. We do all this to teach our children to give back to humanity at large. And because we believe that beginning a Jewish journey is understanding and living the principle of tikkun olam, repairing the world, giving simply to give. For Juliet, whose flying back and forth to Israel has become so frequent she probably knows the El Al crew by name, we've restored a 129-year-old Torah, and we've brought it back to the Polish city of Warsaw for her bat mitzvah, where it lives and is used for each Shabbos today. And for Adam, our youngest, we've undertaken a long-term project in Poland, searching the countryside of Poland for the site of mass graves, searching for Jewish souls that haven't yet been given the dignity of a proper burial. We have found 12 unmarked graves already and erected signs and monuments to mark the final harrowing resting places of these Jewish victims and to honor and preserve their memory. This is what we've done to educate them. We've taught them about their history and the lessons we've learned from it, and to safeguard our children, to safeguard their future. I think of the incredible work being done by this great organization we've come out for tonight, the Zionist Organization of America. We as a people know what anti-Semitism and the Holocaust has taught us. That when bad people say they're going to kill you, believe them. When those people inch closer to getting the bomb with each passing day, believe them. When the mullahs of Iran say they are going to wipe Israel off the face of the map, believe them. We hear it in Iran over and over again. We hear Ahmadinejad saying to crowds of thousands that, quote, Jews only appear human, end of quote. We hear the words of mullahs in the Islamic world, Ayatollah Nourani Hamadani, the leading Iranian mullah, telling his followers to fight the Jews and vanquish them. In Gaza, of course, they call for our destruction. In Lebanon, Hezbollah wants us dead. And all over the world, from countries in Europe and the Middle East to American and British university campuses, we hear calls for the death of Israel. We hear calls for the death of us all. The ZOA understands this. They understand that a threat to Israel is in itself a threat to the security of the Jewish people. Each and every day, sometimes even every hour, the ZOA calls upon the international community, and often our own community, to recognize these threats as real. Tonight, here, I am worried that the threats are so frequent, that the hatred spewed against us is so vitriolic, and that scariest of all, the international community sees none of it. But I'm also comforted. I am comforted that we have an organization like the ZOA to defend us at every turn. I have one more page. I am sure many of you here know that when Justice Brandeis was president of the precursor to the ZOA, he gave a strong speech in 1915, just a year before my grandmother ran from the Cossacks. In it, he called for an organized effort to create a Jewish homeland in Israel. And he said that the duty resting upon us in America is especially insistent. Justice Brandeis went on to say that the crowd sitting before him was composed of immigrants or descendants of immigrants that included people of every shade of religious belief, free of political will, and people who were relatively prosperous. And he was right. Today we are free, we are prosperous, and our duty has never been greater. We are also still and always immigrants, and the sons and daughters of immigrants. And it is in this collective memory of past lives that gives us the passion required for the difficult task we strive to achieve to guard our homeland and to keep it safe for our children and our children's children. And as I stand here tonight, I am a father and a son, but most of all, I'm a grandson of immigrants. Each time one of my children decides to make Israel a destination for study or for life, I think again of my grandmother. I think of her bravery or the horrors she ran from to continue her family's life, and of her words, "Harley, don't break the chain." And I reply, though rarely out loud, "Grandma, I'm trying. I'm trying." Thank you.